Hi, my name's Devine Hair on Instagram. I'm a Sam via ArTeam member, and today we're going to be working on a live model. She's got longer hair. We're going to cut it to a mid-length cut with some soft layering, a little bit of face framing, and a little bit of a longer curtain fringe in the front. It'll be her first time having face framing, so we're really excited to share it with you. Just going to walk you through how I would do a big change like this, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so with the beautiful Sue, we're gonna be taking about 4 to 5 inches off. What we're gonna do is do some soft layering, possibly add a long curtain fringe, a little bit of face framing, and longer layers. She expressed that she doesn't style it super often. She's a working woman, a busy mom, and really just air dries her hair mostly. So we want something versatile that can be air dried or styled. So we're gonna shampoo her, we'll come back and start the cut. All right, so we're all shampooed. We're gonna section off Sue's hair, just starting with the 4 quadrants. So what we wanna do is we wanna find the highest point of the head using our comb. So we'll turn to the side. How we find the highest point of the head, you can take the comb and just balance it right on the head shape. I do this on clients if I'm actually looking for it. Right where it balances in the center is the highest point, and we'll draw a vertical line from the top of the head to the top of the ear and just divide. You can clip this out of the way. I'm just gonna twist it for now. And repeat on the opposite side. Okay, so now we're gonna find the back major changes of direction on the head shape. So we're just gonna comb all the hair in its natural fall using the wide teeth of the comb. Natural fall is literally where the hair is gonna live naturally on the head, not being pushed side to side or moved in any direction. So we'll tilt Sue's head back here. You can see she wears a side part. So I'm not gonna force this hair to go to the opposite side. I'm just gonna comb it and let it fall where it wants to fall. And we'll base our sectioning off of where it wants to naturally go. So our first section is gonna be just down the center. You can see it's kind of already starting to split, but you'll notice this side hair has probably been on a side part so long that now it wants to actually live on the side, which is perfect. So I'm not gonna force it down the center. We're just gonna go down the center in the back. I'm gonna put my back in front of you to get that. Okay, so you can see we have a center part, but at the very top, we're allowing the hair that's living to the side stay on the side. So it's important not to force it, especially if someone has a whirl or a cowlick back there. You always want a section where that hair wants to naturally go. So the purpose of finding these major changes are just to break the hair down into bite-sized pieces. If I were to take a section and cut just square to the back here, what's gonna happen is there's a little bit of over direction that happens behind the ear. So if I pull it back, it's gonna slightly get longer as we move to the front. So instead of doing that, we're gonna find where the head starts to pivot and change directions so that we can cut it super even, nice and blunt, and then we'll texturize after. So the easiest way to find that is you can use your comb and lay a comb on the side and the back, or use your hand. So I'll stand on the opposite side. You can measure with the comb on the side and your hand on the back. Right where those 2 points touch, that's the change of direction that happens on the head. So I'll walk around. This is about that shift. You can check again, right about there. So then we'll draw a vertical line from the top all the way down to the nape area, creating a little breakdown of the head. And now we'll get everything nice and tight. Grab our clip and clip up vertically so we can see our parting nice and clean and all the hair is out of the way. Just like that. So now we have 3 sections. We have our corner back of the head and the back area. So now we'll do the same on the opposite side. So same thing here. We can lay our hand on the back, comb on the side. Right where that touches, you can see the head starts to pivot. What we're looking for is that flat spot on the head, which tells me this is exactly where that hair wants to naturally live. So once you find that flat spot, section from that top all the way down to the nape. Now this area or bevel in the back is always going to have a very skinny section in this nape area, but everyone's head shape is going to be different. The reason that we do this, I'll also probably layer like this as well. It's basically going to tailor the haircut to the shape of the head so that it fits exactly where it needs to fit and is customizable for your guests. And then we'll just get our last section in. Okay, our sectioning is complete. We have our 4 sections in the back and then just our 2 in the front. So we'll start by cutting the perimeter off since we're gonna go pretty short with it. Okay, so we're gonna start in our back section. Notice I'm sitting down because it's important to be eye level. It's gonna save your back. It's gonna save a lot when you're hair cutting, but when you're eye level, you're less likely to start lifting the hair and flipping it, which can create unwanted graduation. So sitting down to be eye level, we're gonna take our first section, just a horizontal section, combing that through. If any areas get less damp, what we'll do is we'll just continue to dampen it, especially at the root area, so that it's consistent all the way through the hair. Okay, so notice the section I'm taking, my fingers are horizontal, living within that bevel where the hair naturally lives. So that's why we broke it down this way. Do you have to? No, we're just trying to avoid any kind of unwanted over direction. All right, so we comb with our fine teeth and then we're gonna go with our wide teeth. I'm gonna keep my fingers nice and tight against the back, and then I can lift and move if I need to. So keep it tight, lock in where you want to cut, and then you can lift if you'd like. We're gonna go through and just do a little point cutting. And then once it's dry, because our hair is very thick, we're gonna go through and do some texturizing. So we're looking for a little bit of a chew on the bottom that's not perfectly blunt, but will remain blunt till we actually texturize dry. As we work up the section, it's the same motion, taking a horizontal section. Now you could, if you wanted, you could actually layer the hair first if that's easier for you. But because we're cutting so much length off, I prefer to get all the perimeter off before we go through and do the layering. Okay, so here's our guide, we can see through. And when we point cut, notice that the blade that's not moving is resting on my ring finger. That's just gonna stabilize my blade, so I can only use my thumb when I'm cutting. Last section. Now that one's a little thick because we can't see our guide through it, so what we'll do is just skim off the top there. And continue our same motion. Okay, you can flip up, I can see the guide, and just point cut. When you're point cutting, the motion that you're making, you're actually cutting on the way out. This is gonna help avoid cutting yourself, anything crazy. It still happens time to time, it's all good. Last section right here. So once this is done, this whole top layer is gonna be layered. What I wanna do is put this back in its clip so I can keep it divided, but we need a little piece of a guide. So we're gonna move on to the section behind the ear. So I'll just take a little sliver from my previous section, and that will be my guideline for the next section. Okay, so moving on, right behind the ear, notice a couple things. The hairline jumps. So if I take my first section down here, it's okay, but it does have the opportunity to jump up a bit. So I'm gonna take my first section. We wanna do it just above the hairline. It's just a little safety net that we do. So we're gonna take that first section. It typically is not too thick because of the hairline that tapers near the nape area. Section this off, get it out of the way. Continuing that horizontal line, horizontal section, and keeping it nice and flat. If you find that you're running into any shoulder areas, you can always turn your client's head just slightly, comb down, and now your hands can rest more flat against the back. So here's our guide. We're staying within our bevel and we're point cutting. Readjusting and cut. All right, next section, just continuing up. Horizontal section, combing straight down, clipping the rest out of the way. Comb with the fine teeth, get all the grains of the hair going in the same direction, nice and smooth, making sure there's no buckling. And we'll comb down. Find our guide, okay, and then you can lift once you lock it in and cut. Readjusting. And today we're working with our Artist Series shear. It's one of my favorite shears to cut wet or dry with. Super sharp, really great quality, and super lightweight in my hand, so it's one of my favorites that I use daily. Okay, last section here, I see my guide, so I'm gonna cut it. Now, if someone has finer hair or thinner hair, you could do this whole bevel, this whole entire section in one cut if you really wanted to. Just depends on your client's density. That's gonna determine how many sections you actually take. Okay, so this section's complete. We're gonna continue with the same motion, grabbing a little piece of a guide from the previous. And now we'll take our clip this up and work on the front section. Okay, so now we're gonna jump to our front section here. We want it to sit pretty close to the collarbone, but since we're cutting fairly close to the shoulder, what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna cut it in the back, but we'll have her turn her head eventually. So anytime you're cutting over the shoulder, the reason we do that, if you look from the side angle, this can create a little bit of unwanted elevation or graduation in the haircut. We want to lay as close and flat to the head as possible. Your other option is to bring it forward and cut it in front there. So I'll show you just a way I like to cut the front area. Start by taking that horizontal section, clipping the rest out of the way, turning to the back here. We're gonna actually clip this all the way out of the way, and then we'll turn her head all the way over her shoulder. And now we can get nice and flat to the side with less elevation happening. Continuing that guide, locking it in, and then you can lift. And just point cutting straight across a horizontal line. So it's a very repetitive motion. This is also how I like to cut my bob haircuts because it gives such a precise perimeter. And anytime I'm cutting major changes, like a lot of inches off, this is just the way I prefer to do it. Not right or wrong, just a different way to approach your hair cutting. I'm a little bit more of a precise sectioner. It's just how I cut hair. If you cut a little more freely, loosely, you can take different, more unique sections, but this is just a great starting place if you ever feel lost in how to section the hair when making a major change. Okay, last section right here. All right, so all of our perimeter is complete on the left side of the head. What we're gonna do is cut the entire right side, and then we'll catch you up to speed in a minute. Okay, so now we're gonna start cutting our layers. So how we're gonna create our guide is taking a piece from the high point of the head, and I always like to just lay and see where we want the edge. So we want longer layers. We might cut a little more when it's dry, especially when texturizing, it's gonna lift it. So we're gonna cut it to about here. So I'll just lift up and edge. So now that is going to be our guide for our shortest layer. Hold on, do a little more. Okay, so this is gonna be our guide for our shortest layer. I don't wanna lose it, so we're gonna keep it straight ahead, hanging forward. And now our first section is gonna come from this back area. Okay, so we've cut our guide. We're working in this very back section. We split it in half. So what we want to do is we want to elevate this high up enough to not look choppy. So if I were to pull this hair straight out and cut just along the edges, that's going to put a straight line in my silhouette, which is when you look at the hair, is there volume? Is it straight? Does it curve out? Does it curve in? That's going to give me a straight line. But because the elevation is lower, it's going to look a little bit choppy, which isn't bad, but we're not looking for choppy layers today. Instead of going straight out, we're going to elevate diagonally up. My guide is right here, and now we're going to cut this length and just point cut into that. We're not over layering right now. In fact, on this type of hair texture, I really like doing a lot of dry cutting. So I always say when I'm doing haircuts with wet hair, it's just the foundation that I'm putting in. And once I see it dry, I can really learn the hair, see how it wants to move, go shorter, and see how it responds. So that's all we're doing right now, doing deep point cuts. What's gonna happen is there's gonna be a lot of weight down here, but you can see it almost matches up. So we're just going to point cut into that. And I pulled that straight out and just point cut. So we're not doing tons of layering, but it'll be enough just to give some movement. All right, so that was our bevel. We split it in half. Our guide is just gonna be a little sliver from the previous. Okay, so here's our next section, elevating that slightly above this imaginary horizontal line. Here's the length we're going to take off. You can see our guideline, and we're just going to point cut. Deep diagonal point cuts, get the length off, and then I'll go through vertically and get a little more. Okay, we'll check how much hair falls out, see if there's anything else to cut up diagonally. Falling out, so now, just like we would normally move down the head and continue to cut, I'm not necessarily making this all the same length. We're just going to point cut with intention. That's to get that bulk off of the bottom till we see it dry. Okay. So we're just going to continue. I'll show you this next section and then we'll complete the opposite side. So once again, taking a vertical section, holding off on that front piece, taking a little sliver from the previous, elevating diagonally up, finding my guide, and point cut. Continuing this all the way down, a little more length on this side, point cut. Okay, now we're at that point that's right behind the ear. So this is important depending on how short of a layer. If you go short on the layer and you try and take this entire section, you could easily cut a hole in the haircut. So for safety measures, always drop about an inch above the ear and just layer that top portion. I'm a big believer that layers don't need to blend completely. We're really just trying to create movement in the cut. So they don't need to be matchy-matchy. We just want the movement there. And once we dry it and texturize, by the time you blend, you won't even notice if there's a little disconnection. Okay, so the left back sides are complete. We're gonna jump and do the opposite side now. All right, so we have the length cut up. We did all the layering in the back. We're gonna now jump just to the side, continuing the same motion, taking vertical sections, leaving the perimeter out anytime we are close to the ear. We just wanna save that length. We're gonna elevate to the guide. There it is. Lock in our elevation, and then you can pivot and cut. Just loosely point cutting. And we're just gonna work our way up to the front. I always like to constantly check that we're on point with the length too, so everything's balanced. When I get to the hairline, here's an important step that I like to take. Like I said before, we might cut a curtain fringe or something long face framing possibly. I like to take a diagonal section so that we leave all this prime real estate for face framing, because if we take a vertical section all the way down, look how it's gonna taper and affect the perimeter there. So I like to leave weight till I dry, because you can really see how much the hair fattens up, what we're working with. So I just take a little diagonal section in that front there, so we can at least get a little bit of layering happening. And then we'll dry and see what we have to work with. Okay, so we're gonna complete the opposite side, do a little blow dry, and we'll catch up when everything is blown out to continue the cut. Okay, we have all the length off. It looks so pretty. We decided we do want to cut like a little curtain fringe. Nothing crazy, so it's more of just face framing, we'll say, not like a curtain fringe fully, because I think we're just gonna stick to this one side. But here's why I figured it would look really great on her. You can see the weight of this hair is pulling forward. That tells me the hair wants to live in its natural fall forward. So when that happens, it just kind of closes her face off. So we want to open it up a bit by just taking maybe to like the chin or bottom of the lip to start at the shortest piece, angling down. So just open that face just a little bit, and then we'll add a little bit of framing. So this is pretty much our section. It's choosing it for us. So it's so important to listen to the hair, because it will always tell you what it wants to do. And it literally has parted itself, so I don't even have to take a section. But if we look down and you're trying to find a section on someone, it's always gonna be from the corner of the eye, or that orbital bone that you have right outside your eye. And then if you look from a different way, I'm gonna have you turn your head. Take the spine of your comb right at the hairline, and where that comb lifts off is where you would start your section from, and it's directly where her hair is already choosing. So we are good on that. So let's determine our length, and you can just look straight ahead forward. Okay. So we'll take a good section size to cut our first piece. Just gonna clip this back. So I always like to start long, but I think we're good with bottom of the lip right there, chin. I'm gonna walk on the other side. It's a common way that I like to cut fringe in the salon or framing is taking that diagonal section and walking to the opposite side. So when we cut, it's gonna automatically fall short to long, and the elevation, instead of low, will be slightly lifted out of its natural fall, so that you'll get a subtle layer on the bottom so it's not too heavy. And we're still gonna have to texturize and whatnot. So my finger angle is gonna have a little bit of an angle on it, and we're just gonna point cut. Okay, we'll keep that there and release the rest of the hair. Walk on the opposite side, take the rest of that hair, flip up to find our guide, angle with our fingers, stabilize that still blade on our ring finger, do deep point cutting, and now we'll hit this section with a texture shear as well. But you can see that it just cuts short to long, so you have like a nice sweep to it. So when it starts feeling heavy, now we're gonna switch to our texturizing shears. So we have a couple different options in our lineup. When I'm doing fringe, I like to work with the Invisible Blend shears. So these have 23 teeth. They kind of cut like a razor. And what makes it really unique is that the part that actually cuts is the teeth and not the blade. So this blade is polished, I won't cut myself, but up here, that's actually what cuts. So it takes minimal hair out, which is my favorite tool that we have because I have so much control with it. So notice I'm still pulling it to the opposite side, but just a little hair comes out at a time. I really like to texturize on most fringes because it just allows movement. So you can get a little bit of movement happening and we'll be able to really lay off their face. Pretty. All right, so that is the fringe. Now let's just add a little bit of face framing on the bottom. Okay, so now that we have our fringe cut, I think it's so cute. It opens her face up a lot. We wanna add some face framing into the mix. We're gonna do the same motion, taking all that hair in front, crossing over the front of her face, and we're gonna use over direction and a little elevation to create just a soft little face framing. There's not a lot of distance happening from the bottom of that fringe front piece to the perimeter, So really all we're trying to do is knock that little corner off. So we'll start by taking a diagonal angle. So we'll take that diagonal angle, working with just this hair in front, walking to the opposite side, picking up at least the outside corner, and we'll just be in your face for a sec. And you can see right here, there's our guide from the bottom of the fringe. I'm gonna just slide slightly past it and just point cut to get some of that length off, and continue by pulling all that section over, letting your client know, be in your face for just a few snips. And more in your face here. So getting any little long pieces. Okay. Now we round brushed her, so you could actually get this to cup around the face if you want, but we did just a little flip to keep it natural and just gonna come through and check. So that gave us just this soft edge there. Now I'm just gonna get this little corner off. Once again, anytime I use over direction, it's just sort of a safety blanket so I don't cut too much at once. Also, it's her first time having face framing, I believe, so it's just gonna be a little gateway into face framing. All right, so now that we've finished, we'll do a little texturizing, going back to our Invisablend. Be in your face one more second here. Going back to where I cut, taking some length off. Now I'm picking up the layers from the back, which is totally fine because we're still gonna texturize all that. And I'm just coming from the inside out here. It's not really gonna affect the length too much. Just want a little bit of movement. Other way to do it, you could just take this whole section, flip it back and see what weight you need to take out and just peel away. Okay, so we're gonna do the opposite side and do a little bit of texturizing in the back. Okay, our cut is complete. It looks so good. So just to recap, we did 5 inches or so off. Remember, we did our bevels around the head just to give a precise perimeter. We did our vertical sectioning of our layers so that it was slim but still has a good bounce to it. And then we added some framing and a little fringe in the front. So we'll turn around, let you get a full view here. All right, so we have all our soft layering around the edge. She's still able to get a good bounce, and we just round brushed this. We didn't add any kind of curls or anything. Like I said, her hair is curly, so it's gonna be a little wavy, and hopefully when it air dries, it sits in all the right places, but I think it looks awesome. So I hope you guys learned something today. If you want to stay up to date with our education, don't forget to subscribe to our Samvia YouTube channel, and you can follow me on Instagram at Devine Hair, and we'll see you next time.